Hi, I'm Clair Carter-Ginn from Forecast. Thanks for joining us here today at Creative Operations New York with Henry Stewart. I'm delighted to be here today with Jerry Melichar. He is the Director of Creative Operations for Spark441 North America. Jerry, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you very much, Claire. This is my fourth Henry Stewart Creative Operations event, and it's just been amazing to see the way the event has grown and the speakers and the caliber of the talent that's here, and the audience is just really amazing, exciting to see.
Fantastic. I know, it's standing room only downstairs, which is amazing. So Jerry, tell us a little bit about yourself, your role, and how you found your way to being a Creative Ops Pro.
So I am the Operations Director for North America at Spark441. And we are a unique joint venture agency model. We are a joint venture between Jaguar Land Rover and an independent agency, Spark44. And how I found myself in agency operations, I found myself in the middle of fires, and I had just graduated from a business school that I did part-time, and so the manager said, hey, Jerry's been to business school, let's see if he can figure this out, starting with HR, IT, and then getting into creative operations, new business tracking, all of those things. So I picked up a lot of these skills, and fortunate that here at Spark44, where we have one client we're working with, our work is a little bit more focused. I can hone in on creative operations and making sure that we're producing the best possible quality work at the right price. We're not going cheap. We do have a luxury brand. We want to make sure we're getting the right value from all of the work that we're doing, and that we're keeping our people working on projects that they're passionate about, and that's producing great work for our client.
That's fantastic. So when it's time to rise and shine, do you have a morning routine that helps you get ready for the day?
I do. I try to get up as early as possible. I try to get out of bed at 6 o'clock, so I have about an hour to myself before the kids wake up, and I spend that time drinking coffee, thinking about the day, but trying to listen to news, try to do things other than work, try to get to work and do my work at work. People need to reach me, they know they can text me, but when I'm home, I try to focus on that. It does mean when I'm at work, I'm eating my lunch at my desk and not hanging out at the water cooler, but for me, that's what works. And in this world where work tends to spill out into our daily lives, I'm lucky that I have the work-life balance at Spark, where I can come to work, work my hardest, and then do the thing that's really most important in my life when I go home.
I think that's great. I think it's so important to find the way that you can find work-life balance in the agency world, whether it be in-house or out-of-house agencies, because we're all working so hard and the expectations are high. So taking care of yourself is essential. So
working on it.
Yeah, which is fantastic. So speaking of taking care of people and yourself, tell me a little bit about how you communicate with your team. Do you have daily status meetings, individual check-ins, group meetings? What works for you?
So I like to meet with my department heads on a weekly basis, but instead of having the same kind of check-in, stand-up meeting every week, I like to change it up. So we have our status reports, and we'll go through all the projects that we're working on, where we are with them, making sure we're checking off on those small rewards, those small accomplishments on our way to achieving big things. And then alternate weeks, we'll pick one of those topics and hone in on that and try to really make some progress in that hour on those particular projects. And I feel like that works to keep the things fresh and give real purpose to those interactions.
Well, it also gives the team time to sit with you and have real important brainstorming conversations about things that need to evolve or improve. So, wow, that's a great thing. I think I might steal that idea, actually. Because each day is different, as we know, and in creative operations there are constantly new challenges, especially on the agency side. You know well about changes in scope, last-minute project ads, changes. So what do you do, or can you give us any tips on what you do to set yourself up and your organization and your team up for success?
So there was an article I think you actually posted, Claire, on LinkedIn about how much time creative teams spend on administrative work. And that's what I've come in and focused on. I came into Spark44, and I will say I did not come into chaos, which I've done before in an operations role. I came into a well-oiled machine. But when I took a look at all of the platforms we were using and the processes we had in place in our office and around the globe, I saw a lot of duplicative work happening. I saw a lot of copying, pasting from one spreadsheet to another. So it was a real win to be able to come in and say, can we consolidate these platforms? Can we, if someone's entering data over here, can we grab that and use this in this department, and then allow more time for the work that really provides value, both meaningful work for our employees and value-adding work for our client.
Absolutely. That's such a great idea, because as you and I have even talked about, so many people or divisions work within their own silos, and so being able to look at the technology as well as the talent and centralize some of that information. And to your point, also being able to let the creatives focus on the creative work and not be as involved with the administrative tasks. That's fantastic. I often say that our business cards should say troubleshooter instead of director or VP of creative ops. Any guidance or tips you have for the rest of the folks out there for when it comes to dealing with change, either planned or unexpected?
Absolutely, that is so true. Just encounter so many issues and problems that come to me on a day-to-day basis. And sometimes, it is challenging because you'd like to be in a situation where you know the answer to every question and you can just move on and feel great about yourself. I've been able to internalize and understand over time that is actually a gift to be in a situation where you have no idea what the answer is, but to have the skills to understand who you need to talk to, what resources you can go to get those answers. And I've had many people over the years come up to me as I'm helping them with something and say, you know what, I would not like to have your job. And that is really gives me a sense of pride, because I say, you cannot have my job. This is what I love to do. And I'm glad that I'm able to have this high tolerance for pain and help out where I can.
Yes, and to have people recognize the value of creative ops, which is something that I think is new, but it's something we're definitely talking about at this conference and the other Henry Stewart Creative Ops conferences. So people are recognizing how important it is to have a strong operational backbone in the creative world, whether, again, it's in-house or out of house.
Yes.
So we all need time to think, and some of us make sure we get outside for 15 minutes a day, which is important in New York, especially as the weather gets better. Some like to have a little meditation moment. But how do you schedule time for yourself to think, process, brainstorm, and evolve your creative operation?
I'm working on that,
Okay.
Claire. I will say that as I grow in my role, I move from less doing and more strategic thinking, and making that shift has been difficult. There is a great feeling of accomplishment when you've got something in front of you and you can check the boxes and fill that out, and it's done, and you can move it from your inbox to your outbox. But it is so important to keep reminding myself to take that time to focus on one project, and to give yourself some space so that other influences from your experience, from your life, can filter into the background and then find a hopefully unique path forward. I like to have a lot of irons in the fires, so I find that sometimes I'm just running from 30-minute meeting to 30-minute meeting, and at the end of the day, I feel like I have done so much and accomplished nothing. So I'm trying to find ways that I can block off more time to tackle individual problems, and prioritize and just get a focus on things, accomplish that before I move on to the next challenge.
Yeah, the never-ending to-do list that we all seem to have and accomplish. So, fantastic. And of course, my favorite thing to ask, what is the best part of your job? What for you is the creative operations icing on the cake?
Well, I feel very lucky at Spark44 to have one of my hobbies and passions recognized, which as a creative operations nerd is databases, digital asset management, creative platforms that help to streamline our workflow and reduce the busy work. And I was chosen by our global CEO to take a look at our digital asset management system and suggest ways that we could bring more aspects of our workload in there, build on the system, bring all these things together. And that's a thing that I kind of became my passion project, and I had my day job, and I would actually go home and sit on the couch and do that. And that to me was not work. I'd rather be doing that than playing video games or watching TV. So to be recognized for a passion and a skill that I had, and to have this opportunity that I didn't necessarily sign up for or even know that I had such a great passion for, has been really amazing.
That is fantastic, and it's so great to be recognized and be able to do it at work. So you're problem solving in a way that ends up being beneficial for your entire organization, which is fantastic. So Jerry, tell us a little bit about your team.
So I've got a really awesome, amazing, talented team. I've got some people that were there when I came in. I got people like Britt Jackson, who heads up our project management and print production, and he's someone who is so passionate about paper, and not in an obscure, nerdy way where you start to have your mind drift. Like, he will get you to understand the importance of the feel and the look of a piece of paper and the impact that that has when the consumer gets it in their hands, and how that makes them, gives an affinity with the brand and helps make their buying decision. So I've got people like that who are so passionate about their jobs and autonomous, and great with people, so that I can leave a lot of the day-to-day work with them and know that they're going to do great things on their own, and frees me up to have a little bit more time to do some more strategic thinking.
Jerry, that's great. It's great to hear that you have such a fabulous team supporting you. I often say that we're so busy doing the work, we don't have time to be strategic about the work. And the fact that you have this fantastic team supporting you that allows you to step back and look at the strategies going forward, I assume would optimize the team to no end and really do even better work for your clients. Jerry, thanks so much for joining us today. It's been great talking to you, and I look forward to seeing you throughout the conference. And thanks to all of you for joining us. And I look forward to seeing you at the next Henry Stewart Creative Operations Conference. Thanks for joining us here in New York.